what do you think are the 5 or 7 key differentiators that will change this perspective in the way we look at women, and which will eventually also change the women's literacy rate in our country?
Yeah, so I think, first of all, as we discussed in the first, response also, there is a huge cultural change that we have to have. So the first is how to bring about that cultural change in the mindset of the people, the mindset of parents, and the society as a whole. So I think the lot of it is to do with the big campaigns that can be organized, which something like Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. I think it has become, we are yet to see what is the actual, or we will come to see what is the actual impact, but I think it is having an impact. And such kind of campaigns are very, very important, because we have seen in terms of, say, polio campaign, or we have the Swachh Bharat campaign. So similarly, such kind of campaigns on a very large scale, that where everyone is kind of it becomes more or less as a feeling inside that this is something to be done. It is automatically, it is voluntary, it should come about. So that is one thing that will bring about that change in the society, in the mindset of the parents, and the mindset of the people who matter. That is one thing that is very important, to have it at a very large scale, to have it like a campaign, to have it like a mission mood kind of thing. And then there is, I would say, the second point could be that how do we have all the stakeholders, the important stakeholders which are involved in this, also geared up towards bringing about this change. So I would say that something like, the Anganwadi worker, which is a very, very important link, right from where the mother becomes pregnant, and then the delivery of the child, to her education and everything, how that Anganwadi worker actually becomes like a counselor. So how this gender inequality is affecting us, how more gender inclusivity can be brought about, all that has to start from there. So as soon as the child, the fetus is there, and the pregnant mother starts coming to the Anganwadi, then how to bring not only the mother but the father also, the family also, to such counseling sessions. That is a child, whichever gender it is born, it is for your family. It is good for your family. So those kind of getting the Anganwadi workers trained into counseling families for this gender equality kind of thing, gender inclusivity kind of thing, is very, very important. The third, of course, is that how do we you can say, incentivize this inclusiveness, because still there is a lot of barrier. As you said, there is a social barrier, there is cultural barrier, there are financial barriers. So we have to incentivize in some way or the other, so that this whole you can say resentment, or you can say this hesitancy towards gender inclusivity goes away. And I would say that there have been some good examples. There are various ways that there have been some reservations in various you can say education institutions and other things, which are bringing about this change. And what one example I would like to take is about IITs actually creating the supernumerary seats. So in 2018 they observed that the girls ratio in IITs is simply skewed to a very, very lowly levels, and it does not reflect good on such an institution. So they created, over and above the present seats, 800 more seats were created in 23 IITs just for girls, so that more girls can get into engineering, because engineering as such is thought to be a very male dominated kind of thing. Civil engineering, mechanical engineering, and all. Okay, IT is now more or less gender becoming gender neutral, but still there's a long way to go. So such kind of thoughtful processes from various institutions, policy makers, that how do we bring about an incentive to have a girl child, and it is not costing us much, or it is not an investment for us. Something like that will also help. And I would say that the NEP goes a long way. I mean, to bring about such things, there are several measures which have been suggested in NEP, including suggesting of a gender inclusion fund. So gender inclusion fund is a very important step, where because there's always a lot of things stop at the financial level. Where would the resources come from? If you have to create something, or if you have to build something, or provide for scholarships or something like that. So that kind of you can say institutional frameworks will also help in getting more girl children into the schools, getting them to the higher stage of learning, getting them into jobs. So all that I feel has to be incentivized. And then this kind of socio-cultural change, which can be brought about not only by the government, I would say, the Government cannot be the only player in this. So there's a large thing which has to be played by the civil society. There is a lot of actions which have to be taken at the various educational institution levels. So all these players have to get together to bring about these changes. That's what I feel.